Paulo Dybala and Manchester United are reportedly in negotiations, deep in conversation and looking to advance talks. Manchester United, of course, could be on the lookout for a new attack-minded player, whether it's a number 9, a secondary striker, an inside forward remains to be seen. With Cristiano Ronaldo pushing for an exit from Manchester United, the club need to act. Now, Dybala was meant to be joining Inter Milan, but they have kind of called their interest or seemingly announced publicly that that deal isn't going to happen. So there is a big opening and opportunity for Manchester United there. We're going to delve into that story, talk about what Fabrizio Romano has had to say about Antony to Manchester United, plus focus on Chelsea's centre-back situation. Reports out of Spain this morning state that Sevilla want this deal concluded by the weekend, and reportedly, according to the brilliant Gerard Moreno, Barcelona and Jules Kounde have now got a done deal agreement. 98% chance that it goes through. We're going to delve into that in much, much more detail. Hit the like and hit the share button. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Manchester United are negotiating with Dybala's agent. This has been confirmed by a number of outlets over the course of the past 9 to 10 hours. As reported yesterday, a lot of people claim that Inter were going to sign him, but the CEO has stated this: Dybala is part of the free agent players available on the market. He was one of the opportunities, but we've already completed our attack with very good players. The Dybala Inter deal been in standby for more than a month now, and it does appear that they have not acted on that. They haven't moved forward. They're not trying to pursue this any further. That isn't necessarily why Manchester United have swept in here, why Manchester United are holding talks. And I think although these are advanced talks, and we say advanced talks because they are getting into granular detail with the agent, what the salary demands would be, what the player expects, the openings and the opportunities. This is something that Ten Hag and the recruitment team are exploring. This doesn't mean that even if they come to a verbal agreement, Man United will act and offer an official contract, or that Dybala will accept what Man United are doing. They are in detailed conversations, and this has been reported. I've seen a lot of tweets of people saying this can't be real. This has been reported by Damasio, who is, in my opinion, the most... outside of Fabrizio, that covers most of Europe, he is one of the most credible sources, the most credible source, in my opinion, to come out of Italy. He wouldn't say we're in conversations. He wouldn't say we're in negotiations if it indeed wasn't true. So it's going to be an intriguing situation to see how this transpires and how it moves forward. But it is certainly something that Manchester United need to explore, of course, with the situation surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo's future. Now, I want to speak about Antony, because Antony is also a player United are looking at. Fabrizio Romano spoke exclusively to the Football Terrace sister company and partner in Give Me Sport yesterday. We're going to delve into what he said, which is also intriguing. But before we do that, I want to introduce you, of course, back to private internet access. You can see the QR code on the screen just there to my right as you see it. Scan that QR code or click on the link in our description or live chat box. You get up to an 82% discount and 3 months free. You have to protect yourself when using the internet, especially in public places. Whether you're using Wi-Fi at the supermarket, not supermarket, like the mall, whether you're at an airport or a bar, a restaurant, make sure you're using their VPN and their private internet access to ensure hackers and your data is not harvested by anybody. It also protects you from mass advertising and keeps your streaming services as clean and clear as possible. So get yourself signed up to that now. 3 months courtesy of the Football Terrace. Give that a little scan when you're done on this show, or click on the link, either way round. Now, what's been said about Antony is really intriguing here. So this is an extract taken from Give Me Sport, where He's very much talking about the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, but Fabrizio Romano said, let's see if they can find a solution for a number 9 or if they can go for Antony. Antony is a player that they really want. Now, this is intriguing. Manchester United, and this is coupled in with the Dybala situation. Manchester United are not going to panic. Manchester United, or they're trying not to panic. Whether they end up panicking in the end is a completely different conversation. Man United are trying to be quite sensible and quite smart in this situation as it stands right now. What they don't want to do is panic and just get Dybala. They want to weigh up and see whether Dybala is the individual that they need. They want to make sure that he's an individual that wants to be at the club for the right reasons. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team spoke to the player a good, 4 years ago now, 3-4 years ago. And it was very much determined at the time. I think it was in the summer of 2018. It might have been the summer of 2019. I have to go back and check. But they determined that it was more about the monetary rewards, the bonuses and what they could earn, as opposed to talking about the projects and where Manchester United are going and what they could win or try and achieve together on a footballing standpoint. That needs to be established in these advanced conversations between Manchester United Football Club and, of course, the representation of Dybala. And I think that's what's key when you then link back into what Fabrizio has said about Antony. Manchester United, and I spoke about this on the Top 6 show on Wednesday, should not and will not, at this moment in time, panic into a player. If we end up losing Ronaldo but cannot find an adequate and correct replacement, the club may very much wait. The club may then focus on a completely different position. It could be an inside forward, or a wing, or whatever you want to call him these days, in Antony. It could be an additional midfield player. It could be a right back. Manchester United need to go about their business in a sensible way and not panic. And I get what rivals will do, and I get what a lot of the negative Nellies around Man United will do. We have to replace him now. That mantra of having to replace now, when we're at the beginning of a rebuild, is what has led to multiple panic buys and multiple times where players have been given to managers that don't fit their system, that don't fit the philosophy that they're trying to build. I understand it if you lose a potent goal scorer when you're a team that's challenging for titles and you need to bring in a new potent goal scorer. There is more of a necessity in that, but there isn't at the beginning of a rebuild. Time needs to be taken, the right type of player, and that isn't just on their physical attributes and technical ability. That also goes down as far as as their mentality and the attitude they have towards the clubs. So Manchester United are not at a point right now where they are looking to offer Paulo Dybala an official contract. They are in deep negotiations. They are talking throughout everything to see where the player sits and thinks and feels. It is a deal that's on. It is a deal that could happen, and it is a deal that Manchester United are exploring. I spent most of last night sending out messages to various journalists, 5 or 6 of which have confirmed that, these talks are going on. Now, it didn't really need me to do that because Damasio has told us this is happening. And Damasio isn't a liar. He's very, very credible on the continent. And I think it's a very, very positive thing to see. But it remains to be seen what Manchester United are going to do. Bearing in mind, the current stance at Man United is we are not selling Cristiano Ronaldo. The fact that we're saying we're not selling Cristiano Ronaldo means we may keep him and sign nobody additional this summer. Talks are going to happen if and when Ronaldo returns from Portugal to train with the Manchester United team with Erik ten Hag, and the situation will be assessed from that point. Thank you, by the way, to Arjan for signing up as a member. If we hit 850 likes while we're live on the air this morning, I will give 10 free memberships out to you, the viewers. It gets picked randomly by YouTube if we hit 850 likes. If you want to become a member or have a chance, make sure you're all hitting that like button. James Mullings here says Dybala's injury record is worrying. It absolutely is, and that's the only element. A lot of people are saying he's washed. I don't think technically he's washed. I don't think technically there are any major concerns about him as a player like that. But the injury record is a concern for me as well. The injury record that he has, when I look at it, it gives me the feeling of, is this someone that's really taking football seriously? Is this somebody that's looking after themselves, doing their recovery right, eating correctly, sleeping right? There's just something about it. Like, has he lost his hunger for the game? Just something don't quite sit right with me. You'll all have different opinions on that, I'm sure, but that is certainly something that United need to consider when the player's asking for certain wages, certain bonuses, certain signing on fees. Because as many people have stated, availability is the best ability. And that most certainly needs to be, didn't be focusing on him. Didn't Damasio say we will only enter talks if Ronaldo leaves? I've seen it was misinterpreted. Well, maybe, just maybe. I mean, there are other journalists that have said that United are in conversations, as you can see here from Angelo. Negotiations are ongoing. I would hazard a guess, and maybe that's been said. I would hazard a guess that United are going to start talks now. United are not going to be stupid. You have to start conversations now because Ronaldo in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time might say, says, oh, I'll stay. And then he changes his mind again. We've done no work behind the scenes. So you would expect Manchester United to be in those conversations as it stands right now. I want to, Terry, panic is what Manchester United and supporters do best. They are like Liverpool in the 90s. And you know what? Listen, I'm not even going to lie to you. I still have fears that we will panic. I still have fears that Manchester United will revert to type. I still have fears that Manchester United will end up going about this in the wrong way. Of course, that fear is there. That fear is real. That fear is something that I get all the time. I always have that sense and feeling with Manchester United. Will we make a mistake? Will we end up doing the wrong thing? Will we end up going in the wrong direction again? Yeah, we've started this summer well, and we haven't bowed down to everybody's demands. We've picked players up at good prices. We've been patient in waiting for decisions from players that are looking at a club, 10 years of failure, looking at it and how, is it the right place? Do I believe in what Ten Hag's trying to sell me? We need to maintain that course. But maintaining that course could mean that we don't sign all the players that the fans want. It's a longer game than that. The way I'm seeing people talk is so short-sighted. It's, we need it all now for this season. Let's go. That's what leads to the panicking. There needs to be a longer-term vision. And there's more to fix than just what we do on the football pitch. It's how we behave behind the scenes, the relationships we hold with agents and other football clubs, how we are viewed by these people. They're all very important cogs within the game. But of course, we saw Steve Nicol on ESPN questioning how good can Malacia really be? He only cost £13 million. This is the same guy that said when Liverpool signed Andy Robertson for £8 million that he's a Liverpool player all day long, and at £8 million it's a sensation. Signing a player cheaply does not always indicate that they're going to be bad players or there's no technical ability or they can't go on to be brilliant. With Manchester United, the media will always push this. Well, he's 13 million. Nobody else was really in for him. He can't be that good, can he? It's that this backwards notion is always used. Man United don't fill all the holes. It will be looked at as a negative summer. At the same time, if we just fill all the holes with what's available, the same people will say, have they panic bought here though? Why weren't they more patient? Why didn't they wait more till next summer? Whatever Man United do, it will get spun as a negative. This is where fans have got to sit there and go, right, what do I want the club to do? And how do I want us to operate? And then just stay that course for a while and see what happens. That's my standpoint on it anyway. Listen, we're going to take some calls from you a little bit later on the show. Sharik here says, Dybala, no, and Kounde for 60 million, yes. And that's exactly the point. Let's say United don't want another number 9 now, and they want something more fluid. And Dybala's going to wants 350, 400 grand a week. But the club's talking to Christopher and Kounde's people and thinking, hang on, 60 million euros next summer, 200 grand a week salary, younger, fresh, form of his life. They might wait. And that's a prime example, Sharik, of maybe waiting. It would be a better option in the long term for Manchester United and not just taking what you can right now. I think all of that needs to be discussed and looked at, and the club hopefully will make the right decision. Now, I want to talk Jules Kounde. The Jules Kounde situation is very, very interesting to me indeed, because Jules Kounde is a player that Chelsea have been monitoring now for over 12 months, talking to, negotiating for over 12 months. There is a reported by everybody and their dog that there is a done deal, a total agreement between Chelsea and Jules Kounde, but never between Sevilla and Chelsea. 1 minute Sevilla are playing silly buggers. Now Chelsea have called their interest. Now, there's been a number of stories that have come out over the past 5 to 10 hours or so. The first one from Gerard Moreno that has stated that Barcelona have reached an agreement with Jules Kounde and the talks with Sevilla are getting advanced as well. At the same time, there are claims coming out of Spain that Sevilla want to close the sale of Jules Kounde before the weekend. The whole Kounde situation is linked to the Ligt situation. And of course it is. And this is because Chelsea Football Club want Ligt more than they want Jules Kounde. Jules Kounde is still very open to Chelsea. It's still his number one preferred destination. Barca want to move for him, but until the Ligt situation is resolved, Jules Kounde doesn't know where he's going to end up. Now, he might end up picking Barcelona because they want him right now and he doesn't want to wait for Chelsea anymore. There is such a, it's such a it's not even a triangle. There's four kind of parties involved, but it's almost like a love triangle. You know, who's going to go where first? What's going to happen? And of course, Fabrizio Romano has spoken about this situation again exclusively with Give Me Sport and said that he wants to go, and Chelsea know the player is keen on the move to Chelsea. That's why they are preparing a new proposal. But of course, Bayern Munich are also looking to swoop in here for the Ligt. And this is why I've stated already on Twitter this morning. I'll say it again. Amid the reports of Kounde to Barcelona, the fact that the player has now agreed to join, and remember this, what we've said all summer, a player can agree personal terms with more than one club. So when you see people attacking a journalist, you said that Rafinha agreed personal terms, but he's gone with Chelsea, he's gone to Barca, you're wrong. No, a player can agree the terms with multiple clubs at the same time. This is normal and this is natural. For some weird reason, football fans have developed this basic female dog. I'm not going to swear this morning. It's very early. This basic knowledge of football that once a player agrees personal terms, that means he's 100% going to that football club. Never been the case. Paul Gascoigne agreed personal terms with Manchester United and then joined Tottenham Hotspur. As an example, you know, Willian agreed personal terms with Tottenham and then joined Chelsea. These things have happened on multiple occasions. And I bet there's hundreds more stories that we don't even know about that follow a similar pattern. So the point I'm getting to is this. Chelsea have got to act quick. If they were to lose out on the Ligt deal to Barcelona, but in that same process, Jules Kounde end up going to Bayern Munich, and then Jules Kounde end up at Barcelona, Chelsea find themselves in a position where their number one and number two primary centre-back targets could fall through their fingers. A decision has to be made. A decision has to be made soon by Chelsea around... and this is where... I just said that Man United being frugal and patient. Sometimes you can't be. Sometimes you have to make a decision. Patience here could mean you lose out on both players. Putting in a substantial bid for either, getting it accepted and over the line, getting that player through the door could end up being a lot more important to Chelsea Football Club right now because they do have that need. They do have that hole. And listen, Chelsea could win trophies next year. Chelsea could challenge for multiple honours with the right signings this summer. The manager's in place. The style is in place. Yes, there's going to be a formation shift. But there's already brilliant players at the club. They're going to add on top of that. They're ready. They're ready to go, Chelsea. They're not at the beginning of a rebuild. They are ready to go. But they need to get these players in. And it's a very interesting situation with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Chelsea, De Ligt, and of course, Jules Kounde. Those kind of five parties in this situation is very, very interesting because, of course, two do not go into three. Somebody in this situation is missing out. The players are going to be fine. The players are going to either end up at Barca, Chelsea, or Bayern Munich, respectively. Brilliant for those two players. But one of these three giant clubs is going to miss out on a target. And I want to know what you think and feel. You know, I want to know what you think and feel about this situation, especially Chelsea fans. What do you want to see from your club in this scenario? What do you want to see them do? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that, my people, right now. Make sure that like button is being smashed as well. 850, and we will gift out 10 free memberships for you, the viewers. Let's go to some of your comments here. James Mullins says, does Todd Bowley not give you Ed Woodward vibes? I don't know. I don't think so. He's got a track record of running sports organizations. So he doesn't personally give me those vibes looking from the outside in. Maybe Chelsea fans would kind of disagree. How many times have Chelsea been rejected already this window? Well, Chelsea haven't been rejected by anybody per se. Rafinha always wanted Barcelona as his first choice. He broadly accepted or has accepted, depending on the journalist you speak to, the terms that Chelsea have provided. Remember, we're going to talk Rafinha later today, 4:00 with Ben Jacobs. Chelsea are the only club so far of a bid accepted. So that's an interesting situation. Chelsea wouldn't be being rejected here by Jules Kounde. They're the ones that have called their interest first. So I don't think it would be fair to turn around and say that they've been rejected, in my humble opinion. Deals here says, we ain't rejection FC. Thank God my club ain't nothing like Arsenal or Manchester United's banter. We've got to commit and pay for Ligt. Very important to go and get him, is what Aaron thinks. Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's absolutely imperative that Chelsea go and do that, and they go and get that done. Look, Ligt's the better player, in my opinion. Absolutely better player than Jules Kounde. And I think it's the right direction to go in. But you've got to pay. I think, especially with Jules Kounde almost going to Barcelona, according to these reports. And I think what you might find, by the way, if, say, tonight, there's a done deal, total agreement of all parties, and Jules Kounde becomes a Barcelona player, I think you will see Chelsea go boom and stick that bid in. I think that would trigger them. I suppose from a Chelsea fan point of view, it's not even wait. Stop risking it. Let's just get one of these deals done and dusted and over that proverbial line. H7 here says, Ligt rejected Chelsea. What is that all about? Come on now. Where have you got that from? It's not even funny banter. Ross here says, is it a problem at Chelsea that Ted Bundy, doesn't have a technical director this summer? Potentially. And I do get why people are kind of worried and a little bit frustrated about that. I do understand it. But I still think that Chelsea will be able to do some good business irrespective. They're about to pull off Raheem Sterling. They're in good conversations with Nathan Ake. Two players. Well, Raheem Sterling's world class, in my opinion. Top class, if not. Ake, very good defender. Better than all the backups that they currently have. 40 million, maybe a little bit steep. But you are getting a player that can come in, can deliver, can play in the Prem. Understands and knows Chelsea Football Club very, very well. You go and bring a Ligt in and then another good attacker to join Raheem Sterling, and you're looking at a very good summer. I know Chelsea fans want a midfielder as well. Let's see what transpires in that position, but Chelsea will keep pushing forward, no doubt. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments. Ligt wants Bayern. Well, this just isn't true. Again, Evans, I get that you're obviously going to push that out because you don't want him to go to Chelsea. There is no concrete news that states that he prefers Bayern over Chelsea. I've seen the predominant news have said he has no preference or prefers Chelsea. The predominant news, especially from the continent, is Chelsea leading in his eyes, or he has no preference and it comes down. One of the reports I read yesterday, which I think is actually the truth of this, I don't think he has an out-and-out preference, personally. I honestly think it's going to come down to the best package, financially, starting-wise, and the product that he likes the most. And if Chelsea offer him more money, he'll go to Chelsea. I think Chelsea here need to yield their financial might. And of course, Bayern Munich are rich, but the German teams don't have as much money as the English teams. And that's what Chelsea have got to do, in my opinion, in this situation, is yield that financial arm. Terry, why has no one else gone in for De Jong? Very good question. We know there's other teams that have been interested in him. But again, this only ever comes up when it's Manchester United. People, why? I think it's because I don't know. I look at the situation. It's a very complex one. It's all coming down to money. That's all this is about. Barcelona want as much money as possible. The player equally doesn't want to leave without being compensated. I think this whole "it's my dream club" is a little bit is being slightly overstated in many, many ways. But there are a number of clubs that are looking at him and monitoring the situation. I wouldn't be shocked if some teams got involved later on down the line. But you also have to look at where he plays and the position that he wants to play in and what those clubs already have. PSG as an example, they already have Verratti. Liverpool as an example, already have the likes of Fabinho and Thiago at their football club. Chelsea could be a team that go in for him. They certainly have a need, but they have to move on N'Golo Kante and maybe Jorginho first. One of those two has to go. And they haven't even moved on to that operation yet because they're looking to fill other positions. So sometimes it's about timing and priority. Man United are prioritizing that position because it's something the club needs in the here and now, if that makes sense. So I'm not surprised that that's where it is. And sometimes it's all about timing and when you move for an individual. You know, when you've got a situation where 5 or 6 of the top clubs all need strikers, it's hard to find them. You might have a summer where you need a striker and everybody else is pretty well stacked. So you get a bit of a free run at a few of the top strikers at that moment in time. It's just the nature of the transfer market, really. But would I be surprised if when that deal becomes closer, would I be surprised? Would I be shocked if suddenly a team comes in and goes, boom, we're going to match the bid? No, we've seen it lots of times this summer. We really have. Arsenal should complete Tielemans, not worrying about rumours. I've got some updates on that a little bit later for you, so stay with the terrace on that one coming up later on today. George here says, stop talking nonsense. De Ligt is coming to Chelsea. Listen, I think Chelsea have got a fantastic chance of picking this guy up. I really, really do. I really, really do think that they have. Terry, what's your thoughts on the Núñez links to Chelsea today? Yeah, I've read them. We shared that a little bit earlier. I've seen these links go out. I'm a little bit 50-50 with them, if I'm being absolutely honest. I've seen them around. I've seen them kind of circulating. It's from Ebola. A lot of, I think it's pronounced Ebola. Look, we'll see what happens with it. There's been a number of these reports that have gone out. There's been a few of these kind of deals for these Portuguese-based players this summer. Obviously, Darwin Núñez. There's been Fabio Vieira. Vitinha has gone to PSG. That nation's players are being picked off. So there is some talent out there, no doubt. Let's see how it kind of transpires. I mean, there's nothing outside of the one report from Portugal, and it hasn't come from the Portuguese outlets that were first to break the other stories. It's come from a lesser known or a less respected outlet. Let's see how it kind of transpires in relation to anything more credible coming. But maybe, just maybe, this is one of those deals, and this is where Chelsea fans have got to sometimes relax. Maybe this deal comes out of nowhere almost. No real links prior. Boom, suddenly he's in the club. And you think, well, look at that. Maybe Bowley and the like do know a little bit more than or better than we think they really are. So yeah, let's see what happens with that one and how it kind of transpires in relation to the transfer window moving forward. Now, I'm going to share the link in the live comment section for you to phone in and, of course, have your say with us today. We are going to give out some free memberships if we get 850 likes. We should be on that already. There's more than double that watching. So get that like button hit. And also check out the QR code on the screen. You shouldn't be using the internet without a VPN. You should be protecting your data at all times from hackers and much, much more. So many benefits to using a VPN provider. We have our own sponsor. We recommend them, and we'll give you 3 months free. Use the link in the description in the live comment section or the QR code on the screen now to sign up. We'll sign up at the end of the show as opposed to now. De Ligt is the Maguire of Serie A. We will see. They are reliable, is what you're saying. Okay, well, listen, this is the thing. Everyone's got a different interpretation. I've seen a lot of people say they're not reliable in the past. So we'll see if this story comes true. But I've also seen people say things like, it's funny, really, because I got told last week Sport in Spain are not reliable when they said there'd been a breakthrough with De Jong. And then yesterday they start reporting about why the player might stay because of the financial situation, and everybody says, oh, look, see, that's proof he isn't coming. People will change who and what they think is credible based on the story fitting what they want it to be, if that makes sense. As I've already stated, there's one outlet that reported this situation with Chelsea and Núñez. Let's see how it transpires. Let's see if anybody else picks it up and not reiterates or regurgitates their news. Let's see if anybody else picks up that news with their own version of that story. Does that make sense? As opposed to a reiteration, and then maybe we'll see it start to pick up a little bit more pace. That's what I would say. But certainly could be a deal that happens. As I've stated, a lot of these Portuguese-based players are being picked up by the European clubs this summer. But we want to speak to you. We're talking Jules Kounde. We're talking De Ligt. We're talking Dybala to Manchester United. What's your thoughts and what's your feelings? I want to know, are you happy about these deals? I want to know where your head's at with it, really. We're going to pin the call-in link to the live chat as well for all of you this morning. I want you to come on and have your say. I want to hear from some of you today in relation to these deals. First caller on the day is going to be Pav. He's a Man United fan. What are you saying, Pav?
Good, man. I hope you're good as well. Dybala, I do not want this guy anywhere near Man United. Do the people who are looking at this deal not learn that the last time they went for him and we tried to swap him for Lukaku, wasn't it? I swear to God that the reports were that his first talks with Man United were about his salary, image rights, signing on fee. Nothing about the project, nothing about the structure, playing time. It was all about money, and that's why I do not want him anywhere near this club. Like, the only club that's actually come in for him this whole summer has been Inter Milan, and they put him to a side and took Lukaku for a season. Most likely they'll probably try to sign him on a permanent next season, but I think this is a disaster if we get him. I do not want him. I'd rather that Man United went and put maybe a loan for a player like Memphis Depay or even Aubameyang. They're going to get Lewandowski, Barca. I would rather Man United go out and get someone in for a loan for a year, put a little cheeky option to buy. We don't actually have to agree to buy the person, but just give them that little incentive. Even Timo Werner, people hate on him, but maybe in a style of play of Ten Hag's, he could score us goals. Like, I would take one of them free on loan rather than bring in someone like Dybala, because I guarantee it, a lot of us fans, when it comes to the end of the season, and if we end up getting this guy, we're going to be crying about he's here for 3-4 years. It's going to be hard to get him off the books. He's on this much wages. It's going to be one of them cycles again. So based off of that, I do not want him at this club.
And Joe, I understand everything you've said there. I think it's an absolute fair stance to take. And I think that this is what I think we have to hope that Manchester United learn from, and we have to hope that Man United move back in the right direction. And if things are the same as you've mentioned, if, for instance, that there is an element of it's all about money, it's not about the project, the attitude don't seem right, the club needs to walk away from it again. Now, of course, we've got a different manager this time, a more respected manager, an individual that people would want to work with, maybe a lot more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe the project this time seems a little bit better. Maybe Dybala's learned from his mistakes, if that makes sense. Maybe there's been a change in him, especially as he's a free agent and he needs a football club. So things could be different there, but we need to make the right decision, as you say. What the club cannot do is panic because of Ronaldo, buy the wrong player, and add a problem back into the dressing room when we're trying to clear problems out of the football club. I couldn't agree with you more. Pal, great call. Great call.
Cheers, man. In a bit.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much, Pav. Appreciate that. Thank you. Feel free to phone in this morning and have your say. Make sure like buttons are being smashed for us. The only fan channel that lets you call in every single day. We have got Milinkovic-Savic news coming up later on this morning, and then a big show with Ben Jacobs this afternoon, where he sent me a message earlier what we're going to be talking about later today. So make sure you're tuning in. Around 4 o'clock, we're going live. But Ben Jacobs and I will be discussing Rafinha. We're talking Sterling. We're talking Lewandowski. Big up Martinez. Big Martinez, big Ronaldo update as well. Neymar, and an update. He just messaged me now saying he's got some information on the Ligt situation as well. So 4 p.m. I need all of you back live on the dot at 4 p.m. For that show. So stay with us there. Fred says, Terry, we are in trouble even if we sign Tielemans. We've got to sign another midfielder, whether he is guilty or not. Can't be playing El Neni again. I hear what you're talking about with Thomas Partey. Listen, no one knows what's going on with that situation yet. And listen, I wouldn't be surprised in the next week or so to maybe see Arsenal just slow down their transfer operations and wait and see. Because, of course, there's only a finite amount of money that all football clubs have. And if the news or any of the stories are true and they can't play him or they get rid of him or whatever, let's put that there as if that was to happen. Arsenal will need to reassess what they're doing in the market. They might need to move away from a defender they're looking at, like Alessandro, and put that money into a different position. So, but that is speculation right now. And I think Arsenal fans should just remain patient and diligent and not panic around that, because nobody knows the truth. But I'm sure Arsenal are looking at that situation, if it indeed is true. I'm sure they're looking at it and assessing it now. So I wouldn't be panicking if I was you at this moment in time. A lot of you saying I need membership. Well, if you need the membership, we need to get those likes up. We're still, we're like 310 likes short of hitting the marker, my friend. So let's get it done, people. Let's get it done now. Next caller on the show this morning, I'm going to go to Bobby. Bobby's here to have his say. How you doing, mate?
Very well. Yourself, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good. Who do you support, Bobby?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I've been watching you for quite a while now. And I just feel as though we've had quite a tricky time of late, and I don't think it's just down to our transfer policy. One of the things that I think with Mikel Arteta is in the Edu situation is a lot of forget.
Oh, we lost you, Bobby. Your signal went, mate. Try calling this back. Try calling this back to come on and have your say. Next on the show, we're gonna go to. Oh, it's hard to pick some good names back here. We're gonna get Russell on. Russell is a Man United fan. We're talking Dybala to Man United, Antony to Man United. What you saying, Russ?
Hey Terry, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. What's your thoughts on this news? Man United in negotiations to sign Dybala. What's your thoughts?
I feel like I was in a coma in 2018 and I just woke up a week later in 2018. I don't want to hear nothing about Paulo Dybala because if you remember back, that was the season actually where I gave up on Man United transfers because it was a given. It was just after the Griezmann issue, and then Paulo Dybala came and did the same exact thing when he wanted a new contract with Juventus and basically played United, and I don't know, man. I feel we've got much bigger problems at the back in the middle of the park than we do up front. Unless Ronaldo for sure is going to be gone, I don't see any reason why we're bringing Paulo Dybala, in my opinion, besides the shed sales and Twitter fans going crazy. In terms of what he actually provides for us on the pitch, I don't see how he's the most important signing we should be making right now. I'm more worried in the instance of why are we not continuing to focus on building more in the middle of the park. I don't know what you think.
Well, I kind of think you're. I don't blame you. I don't think your opinion's wrong about Dybala. I think what you're missing the point here. We have to start now looking at an attacker in case Ronaldo leaves. So what would be worse is to sit there and do nothing, and then Ronaldo leaves in 3 weeks' time, and we've done no work. And no process around bringing in a replacement. So this is what I mean by people have to understand the fluidity of the market. Look at the situation with Arsenal. Now, I'm not going to make any suggestion that the rumors are true, but say they are about Thomas Partey and he can't play this season. Arsenal then have to instantly readjust the rest of their transfer window because of that situation. Yeah. Man United didn't know now that Ronaldo was going to do this. So as far as they were concerned, they thought he was going to be here. So Man United have to adjust and be agile and be fluid because that's what the transfer market is. So I do get your point that United need to act. But what we need to not do is panic. What Man United shouldn't do is panic. Yeah. And I think what we need to demand of the football club is that they don't panic and they don't overreact and they don't do the wrong thing. Listen, mate, I really appreciate your call.
Just want to say one thing, Terry.
Go on.
Just to get this clear, the only reason I say this is because I'm not sure Ronaldo wants to leave. I'm of the thought that Ronaldo is putting pressure on the club to make more signings. Now, if Ronaldo is definitely going to leave, that changes the whole scene of the things. But my whole thought about this is Ronaldo is not going to leave. So why are we focusing on Dybala? There's no one who can afford Ronaldo right now, and what he actually wants, the Champions League football, the wages, everything. If you look at it objectively, I don't see anyone actually being able to afford Ronaldo and the same wages that we have him on. So my perspective on this whole thing is he's put pressure on the club. They've reacted, but looking at Dybala is looking in the wrong direction. That's just my opinion. Thanks, Terry.
Fair enough. Cheers, Russ. Top man. Thank you. And I've seen a few people say that Ronaldo might just be doing what he's doing to put pressure on the club. I don't quite believe that myself, but it's certainly a logical thought process. It's not warped or out there. It's not like believing Earth is flat or anything strange like that. Bobby's back with us now. What are you saying, Bobby?
Apologies for that, Terry. I was just going to say, I feel it's really odd with the whole Arsenal situation. Even if you put Partey aside, I think we've really missed a lot of, let's say, potential additions, because when you weigh up our team at the minute, we have very few players that would fit into the top Spurs first 11. And if that's who we're competing against, and they're still strengthening. So if you compare the players within, let's say, United, maybe not United, but I'd say City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, and you go even further down, there is very few of our first 11 that would get into any of their team. And then we've not, I think, adding Jesus, and we've got to be honest as well, he had the support of De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling, probably one of the most best midfields. He's not going to get that from Arsenal. He's going to be adjusting to a different team. And referencing the Partey situation as well, if we were to act now and sign someone, it's clear admission whilst this case is going on that it is Thomas Partey. So I think they're going to really sketch away from that. But the board are really moving in the wrong direction as well, I think, by backing Arteta, because our players are just, every single player that's coming through the door at the minute is just depreciating value. And everyone he's managed and everyone that's out of the squad at the minute or not a first 11, they've got no value to them. So the Aubameyang situation, we let him go, paid for some of his contract to go. Whereas if we'd stuck for 6 months and maybe let him score a few goals, which he would have done, we may have got top 4, plus we'd have got some money off him. There's loads of scenarios like that. It just really irritates me at the minute.
Look, I understand that. I think it's one of those scenarios, really. If you're not someone that backs Arteta and what he's doing, it's hard to a degree to back the signings and what you're building. If it's being built for him, it goes hand in glove. I know a few Arteta outers that always get excited about the signings, but then they say, "Oh, it's not going to work." I'm like, "Well, I don't get why you're excited then. Those two things don't compute for me." But look, I think you guys have had the right approach in recent weeks. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think you've been going your approach has been correct. But as I said 3 weeks ago and got cooked by Gooners for it, if you're going to call your interest on Yuri Tillemans and go after Lisandro Martinez and Rafinha, you've got to land them. You've got to land them or equivalents. You can't do that. And if by any quirk of fate you lose out on Yuri Tillemans, then it goes from looking like having a very good window to being an embarrassing one. And I think that there is that notion. However, what I would say is this, and I'd say the patience thing is there's still many, many more weeks to go. Still, 6 weeks of the transfer window or so left, maybe even a bit more than that, to be fair, about 7 weeks. So I think people have just got to stay a little bit more relaxed. The clubs will do it. And look, we'll know there's some speculation going around right now. I think that could be part of the reason why maybe certain things are just being held back at this moment, or they could change slightly because, of course, if they do end up being true, then the world will change for Arsenal's transfer market. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. There's it's everything's resolved and positive. We think, but there we go. Bobby, listen, I appreciate the call, mate, and you coming on. Top man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Cheers, Bobby. Thank you. Super chat here. It says, here we go. Breaking news. Man United's signed Noah idea. That's clever. Nice one, Sean. Good attempt. Good bit of banter there, my old mate. Some of the things people say make me laugh. They are funny. But yeah, look, I think, I don't know, Arsenal fans are a little bit panicky. And a lot of Chelsea fans in the comments saying, Terry, can you please speak on Nunes? We're going to be touching on Nunes later on today when Ben Jacobs is on the show, giving us a full Chelsea update. So patience is a virtue. There's no more to be said about it than what's been reported by Ebola already this morning. That they have said that Chelsea will make a bid in the next few hours, 45 million euros plus 5. And it should convince the club to sign. Of course, the player will join Chelsea. It's a big step up, Sporting Lisbon to Chelsea. That's the report. There's nothing more new on it from there. Ben Jacobs is on the case. He's on the show at 4:00 today, so make sure you're tuning in then for a full update. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments here. Do you think Liverpool will sign Jude Bellingham? They've got a chance. Do you know what? As a Man United fan, I don't want him to, because he's a very good player, and I wouldn't want Liverpool signing more good players. So I don't want any of my rivals signing good players. One of the reasons I'd like Liverpool to sign him, because it would be 2 signings on the bounce, where Liverpool have broken records. Liverpool have spent big money, and it would just dispel the myth that they don't ever spend money. And that myth annoys me, not because it's Liverpool, but just because, well, of course they spend money. Everybody spends money. And I would like to see them just start spending their money because they've got it. It's weird how certain people try and make it out like they work on a shoestring budget and they're like it's Disney FC. It's a very strange one to me, but there we go. Next on the show this morning, we've got Chelsea fan Lamin on the line with us now. We're speaking Jules Kounde. We're speaking Ligt. What's going on there? Morning, Lamin. How you doing, mate?
Morning, Terry. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Listen, it feels like we're getting down to the end now. Jules Kounde could go to Barca, but he's agreed terms with Chelsea. Ligt could go Bayern, could go Chelsea, but you haven't submitted an acceptable bid with either. What do you want Chelsea to do from this point?
I mean, honestly, yeah, I'm getting very frustrated. I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I called and I said I think it was a mistake to let go of Marina and Petr Cech and to just let Todd Bowley take the reins there. I just want to see a signing, really, whether it's Jules Kounde or Ligt. They're both really good players. And I think we need it right now because we're just watching everyone make signings like all around us and we're not really getting anyone in. I know we'll get someone in, but you want to get them in at the right time so they can go in pre-season and like just get into the team early. Personally, I'm not going to judge Todd Bowley just yet. I'm going to wait till the transfer window ends. But if we're not really satisfied with the transfer window, we would lose our heads really because he could have just let Marina and Czech carry on, and then in January maybe then we can have the transition. All I'm saying is that we're monitoring, we're close, we're losing targets, and I'm just getting it's getting to me. I can't even lie. Uh, like the Rafinha thing was the final straw for me. I can't. But when I thought we had it, I ran all of my jokes, and then now it's going to Barcelona. So um, I don't know. I really don't know. I genuinely thought Jules Kounde was coming to Chelsea. That I thought that was a done deal. And yeah, perhaps maybe if we had the old guards, then we would still have them coming. We would be able to just close that out. But it's risky. It's risky what we're doing with Todd Bowley. That I'm really scared of it because he has no experience like that in football, and to just come in and like want to take the reins straight away, that's what I was worried about. And I still am. To be honest. But I will judge him end of this transfer window. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I really, really do. Lamin, appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. Look, I think there was a graphic that was put up yesterday that shows the signings that all the top six have made. And United have obviously officially made one with Malacia. We know Eriksen's happening. And then you see four at, I think 3 or 4 at City, 3 or 4 at Tottenham, 4 at Tottenham, 3 they've announced with the 2 young players at Liverpool, and Chelsea with none. But if you actually look at Man United and Chelsea, there's been a shift and change in the whole structure this summer, which has slowed things down. I get why Chelsea fans are like, we've got to sign someone. But again, you don't want to panic. You're identifying a particular group of players, relax a little bit. The window is it's a month old. It's a month old. And I think that you're so close to Sterling and Ake. That's a good start. And then you'll add on from there, you know. And you're picking up one of the best attackers in the Premier, in Europe, in the world for about £45 million. It is an absolute sensational piece of business. And I get people that won't relax until they see it over the line. But I think there'll start to be a bit of a domino effect after that. There really, really will be. Harrison here says, Terry, I laughed so hard yesterday when I saw a thread of, I don't know what that's meant to say. I don't know what that means. Ateneo fans I don't know what that means. Am I being thick? Me to type that in. Maybe I'm just stupid. Is that I don't know that meant to be? I don't know what that means. Is that meant to be Arteta fans or something? I don't know. Maybe it's a young person's Twitter word about a certain type of person, and I have no idea. But he says saying that United buying Martinez is the same old United, and he doesn't fit the profile of player we need. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I do get it. People just want to be negative for negative sake. It's ridiculous. Arsenal fans, that's meant to be. What? Why is it written like that? What, can you explain to me why it's written like that so I understand? I get the Asna thing because they're kind of putting on like a West African accent, but what does that mean? Oh, just a mistake. Okay, cool. I thought it was a young person thing. Some of you young people say weird things that make no sense to people my age. It's true. We had that when I was younger. My nan used to get really confused. Me and my brother was, oh, that's wicked. No one says wicked anymore at all. But where we said wicked was like a good thing. But to my nan's generation, if you said somebody was, my mate Jason's so wicked, she'd be like, oh, what's he done wrong? No, it don't mean horrible. It ain't been burning cats or anything. Wicked means he's a good guy. I don't know how that happened. How did wicked become good? Anyway, I digress massively. I think he means Arsenal. Yeah, listen, any Arsenal. This is what happens whenever Man United get linked to a player. Suddenly he's a bad player. It's absolutely crazy. But it's the way it works. It's the way football works, and football fans have just got to realize that. Football fans have just got to accept that. Man United fans, especially, it's the way the world goes. I'm quite proud of it, if I'm being honest. I love the way people talk about Man United in that way, and every time we link to a player, they're a bad individual. I've always felt that way about music. Now, that's a weird comment, but let me explain it. I believe, let's take an average out. I guarantee if Peter Andre wrote a song and Adele wrote a song, but they swapped them and sung each other's, first time anyone else in the world had heard it, I bet people would slag off Peter Andre's songs, the lyrics, that makes sense. But then Peter Andre's song by Adele, people go, oh my God, what am I? There's a credibility that comes with the name and the person, and people. Her music's great, by the way, but I think when someone's looked at as great, everything they do is sort of looked at as great. Like people go, oh, that's really good, even if it's a bit whack. I'd love to see that experiment. I'd love to see that Ed Sheeran and Peter Andre switch songs and see what people say. I'd love to see that experiment. It'd be fun. Remember, people, you need to sort out your private internet access. I know there's loads of new people tuning in now from earlier on when we spoke about this. You got to go and get this done. You really do. This QR code on the screen or the link in the description below will take you to the website. Use that exclusive link so you get the up to 82% off, and you can see they're highlighted 3 months free, courtesy of the Football Terrace. If you don't know why you need a VPN, you need to go and research it. Very, very important for your data, especially, plus other things. The best thing I use it for is when I travel, I can use all my apps and my TV apps anywhere in the world, because I just basically, my iPhone still thinks I'm in England. So it's a touch, mate. Absolute touch. But there we go. I have listened to Drake's I actually quite like Drake's new album, to be fair, but all the songs do sound exactly the same. It's just like one. It's, you know, like when you're in the, like when I was younger, I'd go to hairdressers, not barbers, right? It's like, you know, when you're in the barbers and it's just like that music, like they all like the same kind of weird. It's got like a house type vibe to it. It's like a housey kind. It's weird. It's not horrible. It's just the same song for 12 songs or whatever the album is. It's not as good as what was the album before that? Was it called Snake, Scorpion, Tarantula, something like that? That was a good album. I like that. Just winding you up. Just winding you all up this morning. Now, listen, we're about 150 likes short of it in the 850 mark, and I'm going to gift out 10 memberships. So let's get that done right now, people. A big update for anyone new that's tuning in. Manchester United are in negotiations and advanced talks with Dybala's agent about a move to the football club. Inter Milan have seemingly pulled out of the deal, but Antony could also be an option, according to the brilliant Fabrizio Romano. He could still be a player that Manchester United go out and buy this summer. On top of that, Jules Kounde, total agreement reached with Barcelona, according to Gerard Romero. Talks with Sevilla ongoing, who want this deal closed off by the weekend. We know that Ligt wants Chelsea. Fabrizio has confirmed this. What will Chelsea do? They have to land one of these two star young centre-backs. They can't allow it to protrude on much longer. They can't do that. What are they going to do? I need to hear from you this morning on this now, my people. We're going to switch the last part of the show to member chat only. So if you are a member, get yourself signed up right now. 10 of you are going to become members today, courtesy of the Terrace. We need 130 more likes to get there. Let's get that done. We're going to take some more calls in a moment. Terry, can you do a safe and tie show? Yeah, that would be mad. The Lit would be wicked. Someone used the word wicked on the show. I like that. I like seeing that. Cedric here says, Terry, if I say that I hate a player, it's because he is a good to baller type player, not playing for my club. I hear you. People do that a lot. I totally get that. I do get that. Like when a player is not when your rival's son a good player, you want to put it down. You want to find the reasons why they're going to fail. I do kind of get it. I absolutely do get it. There's no doubt. Man United is old money, new money since Abramovich started the movement with Chelsea, who have 2 to 3 Prems, and the City Group and their success. Fenway Group of Liverpool United have got lost. Listen, Manchester United have spent more money. Man United don't need new money to compete. We need to be run well. We absolutely need to be run well as a football club. Billy T here says, Terry, do you think that the Young deal will be completed this week? It's looking unlikely to complete this week. The manager wanted it. Ten Hag wanted it. But there are financial issues here people are ignoring. He's due £35 million next year from Barca. And I bet when you delve into it, my view on it is now this. This is no dream club situation. De Jong wants his bag. De Jong wants his money. De Jong, that's what he wants right now. That's his motivation. And it needs to be his motivation. There's no shadow of a doubt. Who's everybody's dark horses for the upcoming season? I don't have a dark horse for winning the Premier League. I don't believe Spurs can do it. But I watch out for Newcastle and their rise up the league. I think you could see a resurgence from Leicester City as well. I think those two teams are one to watch. And I'm very intrigued to see Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. I think Nottingham Forest will start fast and fade, but I think they'll stay up. They'll start fast, but then I think they will fade. Terry, when Klopp and Pep leave, how do you think Liverpool and City will cope? Well, what they need to do is replace them with top-class managers. They need to already be working on who is the best in the world available at that time to come in. The style of play, the style of management needs to have an 85 to 90% match straight up. They need to come in and it needs to feel almost flawless. Of course, they'll coach slightly differently and there'll be a different approach to things. But in terms of Klopp's squad, there needs to be a manager that looks at that squad and says, I can win with that. I don't need wholesale changes. That's what you need. What neither club should be doing is going in a completely new and different direction. That would be an absolute abomination. It would be an absolute abomination. It really, really good. Nagelsmann to Liverpool, Enrique to City, I reckon. And that could be the process. Let's see what Nagelsmann does over the next. He's an interesting manager. A year ago, his stock was so high. I know he's at Bayern, so he isn't really linked to anybody, but no one's really raving about him. Still very young. He could be the guy. Maybe Steven Gerrard with Aston Villa does absolute bits for the next 2 to 3 years. Villa win a trophy. They get into Europe. They're playing great football, and he's the individual. But there has to be a match in terms of style. Now, it will never be identical. That's impossible. But Liverpool and City need to maintain the philosophies that have been built over the past 5, 6, 7 years. The worst thing they can do is go, right, what Spurs did. Look what they built with Poch. They should have gone to another manager in similar ilk. Instead, they went to Jose, and it absolutely destroyed everything they built, and they're now trying to rebuild it again. That's what they have to avoid, and I'm sure they will. Another person asking, no, I don't think De Jong will sign for Manchester United this week. Still very confident myself this deal can go through. As Gerard Romero says, this is what makes me laugh. Another credible report out of Spain that Ten Hag and De Jong speak almost daily. And what? And they're not talking personal terms. They're speaking about the weather. Oh, my dog was sick last week. Oh, I stubbed my toe. Oh, did you watch Stranger Things? Yeah, that's what De Jong and Erik Ten Hag are talking about. Reviewing Stranger Things. Great end to the season, by the way. 2.5 hour episode was great. I'm so happy. I thought this was going to be the last season. I'm happy this is going to be a season 5. But there we go. Yeah, listen, it will happen in my opinion. Which player takes the next step? Which player takes the next step next season? Jadon Sancho will move up levels. Bukayo Saka will move up another level again and start proving more and more people wrong. I'm confident about them. I think Kai Havertz will have a much better season this year. Watch out, Leicester, we already mentioned. Watch out for Daka. His second year in the Prem. Resurgence, another level. For him, he stands out. And who else? Who else do I think is going to have a standout season? Harvey Elliott, Liverpool. Watch out for that boy. Hot take. Rooney will be in charge of Everton after the World Cup. Ooh. That is an interesting take. It's a very, very interesting take. Very interesting. Yes, you are 70 likes away, people, from 10 of you being gifted memberships. So get those like buttons hit now, my people. Which player? Oh, I already had that one. Sorry. Kulusevski would be a good shout. Which City players were calling Ten Hag as Eric 10 months? Listen, Ten Hag was on the shortlist to replace Pep Guardiola. In fairness, so was Brendan Rodgers, but there we go. Who do you think will be a surprise signing next season? I don't know. I don't know who the surprise signing is going to be, because it wouldn't be a surprise if I knew, right? But there will be one. There will be a deal that happens between now and the end of the window that is not being discussed right now, because that's the fluidity of the market, and it can be for a number of reasons. Look at Ronaldo doing at Man United; it's changing things. There can be outside of football reasons that change what a club has to do. There could be an injury to a particular player in pre-season. You know, a star player at one of the big clubs, heaven forbid, does a cruciate, breaks a leg. The world changes. There will be there will be more big moments. People are acting like this week is the crescendo. Oh, we've got to get it all done before pre-season. It's a bit of a fallacy. If you actually go back and look at the most two successful teams of the last 6 years in the Prem, and look at when all their deals were done each summer, loads were done during and after pre-season. Even the best run clubs. So this notion that Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, it's all got to be done before we kick a pre-season ball. What a load of old tosh. What a load of old nonsense. The only time it can be a little bit damaging is if these things happen and there's no like follow-up, no plan, and someone has in pre-season. People, we're 12 likes away. 12 likes away, my people. You're doing it. You're doing it this morning, my guys. There we go. We're going to hit that magic mark. Are we going to hit that magic mark? Maybe we will. I think we will. I think we're going to get there. We're going to get over that line. Original base Annie says, what about Julian Alvarez? Listen, that guy, I don't know enough about him personally. But I do think there's a huge possibility that he has a very good... A lot of people are predicting him to have a better season than... what's his face? A lot of people are predicting he's going to have a better season than Haaland, which I don't really understand, but, you know, each to their own. So people, those memberships have been purchased. Those memberships are on their way to you now. Who's going to get it? Who is going to get it? Here we go. They've been put out. And you just scared me, by the way, KJ, with your comment. Here we go. So, Treble M, Boomaguna has been given. Treble M, Boomaguna, Mark, not Mark, has been given the membership here. Ted Bakes, Eric Tan, House of Hoff, Christopher Cartridge has been given a membership here as well. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. The Age of Non-Related Carp, RJ, has been given a membership as well. So congratulations to each and every single one of you. But there we go. There we go. So what is it for? What's this here about Eriksen? It's more likely at this stage that Christian Eriksen will go to Melbourne, where Man United play Melbourne Victory on the 15th of August before taking on Crystal Palace, is what you've said. Eriksen won't come in quickly. Does it make you question the signing process at United? It depends on the reasons why he won't come in quickly. I don't know we don't know what those reasons are. Maybe he's got to go from intense medicals. Maybe there's some insurance that needs to be signed off because of the pacemaker that's going to take time to underwrite. You know, there'll probably be a technical reason for it, but I'd have to read more of the sort. What else has Simon Stone said for that to make sense? But it doesn't really bother me too much. To be honest. Any news on Antony? Yes, Navit. Yes, there is some news on Antony this morning. It came from Fabrizio Romano, who essentially said, you know, let's see if they can find a solution for the number 9 or if they go and get Antony. Antony is a player they really want. Those were his words. Antony is wanted by Manchester United. Antony is needed by Manchester United, and it's a player on the agenda. But as I've already said in this show a few times, the market is fairly fluid in so many ways. And I'm a boy and I like whistles. You like whistles as in like suits. That's what I think of a whistle and flute, suit. But yeah, I think that Antony's a player that Man United want. But of course, if Ronaldo leaves, it could change everything. And maybe they do need someone who's more central focused. That's the way the market goes. Chelsea are rebuilding. Y'all should calm down, is what's been said there. But where's my new members in the chat? Oh, there we go. Thanks for my gifted membership, whoever you are. Thanks a million. Best content in the game. Not a problem, my friend. And we've got lots of new content we're launching towards the end of July, around 2 pieces of exclusive content per week for our members that is going to be going out. Plus, we are starting our live events. 3rd of August will be the first Football Terrace on the road event that we host. Invites are going to go out to our squad members and above very, very soon. There'll be, of course, a list. The legends will be offered first, then the first team members, then the squad members to fill up the guest list. But we want you in. We've got a brilliant panel that are now all but confirmed for the day. We'll get that update for you soon. But there'll be people there from the kickoff. There's going to be people there from the Big Six show. We're going to have the likes of Liaz and Anita will be there. We're hopefully going to have some special guests as well. Plus, a lot of your favorite Football Terrace community for a big live event to welcome in the new football season. So thank you very much for becoming members and all that. And KJ will be sending out the legend and first team scarves very soon. He has sent out messages to you all to start sending him your address, emailing him in your address so he can get it all packaged up and sent out to you. Not a problem. Where are the rest of the new members? I haven't seen any comments from you all. You've been gifted membership. We're in a member chat only. Get your comments in, my people. That's the point. I need you all here. But there we go. Let's do I'm trying to do another call. There's lots of people backstage. It's hard to actually know who to pick. I'm going to go to Unlimited Dreamer. What are you saying, Unlimited Dreamer?
Hello, Terry. How's your day going?
I'm very well, my friend. What do you want to say?
I'm just going to say about Kounde and Ligt. With Kounde, yeah, Barcelona are going to get him. Good for them, good for him. And also that he wasn't actually a fully Tuchel target because mostly that was for the club. And from the club anyway. And we put him down to one side saying, okay, if you still want to be with us, then fine, we'll get you if we can't get anyone else. But we're going for like someone like Ligt, who has had a look at with data, which we are going with right now with Bowley. And like, I really do feel confident we will get him, even though Bayern Munich are interested in him. And like, also with the kind of thing I'm just gonna say about Chelsea, we have gotten out sanctions. We haven't talked to players, to agents, to clubs. Because we're so behind through other clubs like City and Liverpool and Spurs and Arsenal, they've had that time to do that. We couldn't. So I understand why we're this slow and not announcing anyone. But once we sign someone, I think most Chelsea fans are going to be like, all right, we can stay calm. We've got a signing. Let's just see what else we do in the window.
Yeah, listen, I don't think I think I've said all along Chelsea fans have got to stay as relaxed as possible. I don't think that you guys are in this really bad sort of scenario that some are kind of making out. I think it's being slightly overstated, if that makes sense. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how this kind of works out and how it pans out moving forward. We really, really will. Listen,
also,
go on, mate, go on.
Yeah, also about Rafinha, like for me, I feel like we still have a chance to get him. Personally, because like obviously Barca want a lot of players in the sun that's been named in them. So with Rafinha, like I'm hearing something about it. Obviously, you're probably gonna hear about it with Jacobs, but I'm not gonna say it anyway. But with Rafinha, I feel confident we can get him still.
I think there's a lot of people that kind of feel like that, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. It's going to be very interesting to see how this kind of transpires and plays out. No doubt about it at all. My friend, thanks for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it. Top man. Thank you. Comment here from, I think they pronounce Yuri. It says, Terry, how much of a pay cut would Frankie Young be taking at Man United? I mean, there was talks of £250,000 a week. Look, Man United might end up being forced into a situation where they have to up that. You know, he is on 350 right now at Barca. He's owed deferred money. Now, this could be the scenario, which again, rival fans don't want to hear because it's positive towards Man United. But maybe there's a situation where if he timings could be important here. We don't know the cutoff points. So I remember Duncan Castles put a story out and everyone said it was nonsense, but it was all to do with Neymar. And the reason that Neymar's transfer to PSG took so long is that if he moved before, like, I think the date, it might have been like the 1st of August. If he moved before the 1st of August, there were loyalty bonuses at Barcelona that were owed to his agent, who I believe is his dad. Could be wrong about that. So they had to wait until after that date to move. Maybe there's a situation where the money that's owed from the last season or two to De Jong that's been deferred, which is somewhere in the region of £20 million. If he leaves before a particular date, he might not get it. Gerard Piqué, they asked Piqué to retire because I think the rules of the deferment were if you retire before the due date of this money, you forego it. Does that make sense? I don't believe this is dream club. I need to stay here. I'm desperate to be here anymore. I can't. This is more about I need my money that I'm owed. And if I leave before a particular date or before a particular trigger point, I'm going to lose it. And there's no way this man should be walking away from his money. That would be stupid. But we'll see. It was an interesting report in Sport yesterday about how much money is owed to him. I guarantee there's a trigger point. And when that gets revealed, I'll just go, cheers. Thank you all. Ronaldo is not training for the third straight day. United still don't know if he plans to join them on tour. It looks like he's going AWOL, people. It looks like Ronaldo's going AWOL. That's what it feels like. Hope not, though. I hope and pray that he isn't. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. More content to come. 4 p.m. live. Ben Jacobs is here. We're talking Rafinha. We're talking Ligt. We are talking Martinez. We are talking Cristiano Ronaldo. We are talking Nunez. The Nunez deal to Chelsea. Make sure you're back. We're giving out more memberships. If we hit 1,250 likes while we're live on that show, I'm going to give out 20 more memberships. So make sure you're tuning in. Until next time, take care. Good.